Vikramashila was one of the two most important centers of Buddhist learning in India during the Pala Empire, along with Nalanda. Vikramashila was established by King Dharmapala in response to a supposed decline in the quality of scholarship at Nalanda.Atisha. The renowned pandit is sometimes listed as a notable abbot. It was destroyed by the forces of Muhammad bin Bakhtiyar Khilji around 1200. Vikramashila is located at about 50 kilometers east of Bhagalpur and about 13 kilometers northeast of Kafalgaon, a railway station on Bhagalpur Sahebganj section of Eastern Railway. It is approachable through 11 kilometers long motorable road diverting from Nh.80 at Anandipur, about 2 kilometers from Kafalgaon. History. A number of monasteries grew up during the Pala period in ancient Bengal and Magadha. According to Tibetan sources, 5 great Mahaviharas stood out. Vikramashila, the premier university of the era, Nalanda, past its prime but still illustrious, Somapura, Odamtapura and Jagadala. The 5 monasteries formed a network. All of them were under state supervision, and there existed a system of coordination among them. It seems from the evidence that the different seats of Buddhist learning that functioned in eastern India under the Pala were regarded together as forming a network, an interlinked group of institutions, and it was common for great scholars to move easily from position to position among them. Vikramashila was founded by Pala King Dharmapala in the late 8th or early 9th century. It prospered for about 4 centuries before it was destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji along with the other major centers of Buddhism in India around 1200. Vikramashila is known to us mainly through Tibetan sources, especially the writings of Taranatha, the Tibetan monk historian of the 16th–17th centuries. Vikramashila was one of the largest Buddhist universities, with more than 100 teachers and about 1,000 students. It produced eminent scholars who were often invited by foreign countries to spread Buddhist learning, culture and religion. The most distinguished and eminent among all was Atish Dipankar, a founder of the Sama traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. Subjects like philosophy, grammar, metaphysics, Indian logic etc. were taught here, but the most important branch of learning was Tantrism. Organization. According to scholar Sukumar Dutt, Vikramashila appears to have had a more clearly delineated hierarchy than other Mahaviharas, as follows: abbot, 6 gate protectors, a gate scholars, 1 each for the eastern, western, first central, second central, northern and southern gates. Great scholars. Scholars, roughly 108 in number. Professors or teachers, roughly 160 in number including pandits. Resident monks, roughly 1,000 in number. According to Taranatha, at Vikramashila's peak during the reign of King Chanaka, the Virapula were as follows: Ratnakarasanti, Vajasvaragati, Ratnavajra, Janasramitra, Naropa, and Prajnakaramati. If this is correct, it must have been toward the end of Chanaka's reign given the generally accepted dates for Naropa. Tantric preceptors. Vikramasila was a center for Vajrayana and employed tantric preceptors. The first was Buddhajnanapad, followed by Dipamkarabhadra and Jayabhadra. The first 2 were active during Dharmapala's reign, the third in the early to mid-portion of the 9th century. Jayabhadra was the first prominent commentator on the Kakrasamvara Tantra. Ridhara was the next preceptor, followed by Bhavabhatta. The latter, also a prominent commentator on Chakrasamvara, may have been the Mahasiddha Bhadrapad. He in turn was succeeded by 3 more prominent Chakrasamvara commentators, Bhavyakirti, Durjayachandra and Tathagataraken. Durjayachandra collaborated with the renowned Tibetan translator Rinchen Zangpo, and his commentary became particularly important for the Sakya school, and Tathagataraken collaborated with Rinchen Grags. In chronological order: Buddhajnanapad, Dipamkarabhadra, Jayabhadra, Ridhara, Bhavabhata, Bhavyakati, Lilavajra, Durjaychandra, Samayavajra, Tathagataraken, Bodhivajra, Kamalraken. Curriculum: Vikramashila's curriculum taught formalized Vedic learning including Vedic texts, ritual, and the Vedangas such as linguistics, reasoning, medicine, law, astronomy, and city planning. Layout and excavation: the remains of the ancient university have been partially excavated at village Antichak in the Bhagalpur district, Bihar state, India, and the process is still underway. Meticulous excavation at the site was conducted initially by B.P. Sinha of Patna University and subsequently by Archaeological Survey of India. It has revealed a huge square monastery with a cruciform stupa in its center, a library building and cluster of votive stupas. To the north of monastery a number of scattered structures including a Tibetan and a Hindu temple have been found. The entire spread is over an area of more than 100 acres. The monastery, or residence for the Buddhist monks, is a huge square structure, each side measuring 330 meters, having a series of 208 cells, 52 on each of the 4 sides, opening into a common veranda. A few brick-arched underground chambers beneath some of the cells have also been noticed, which were probably meant for confined meditation by the monks. The main stupa, built for the purpose of worship, is a brick structure laid in mud mortar which stands in the center of the square monastery. This 2-terraced stupa is cruciform on plan and about 15 meters high from the ground level, accessible through a flight of steps on the north side. On each of the 4 cardinal directions there is a protruding chamber with a pillared antechamber and a separate pillared mandapa in front. In the 4 chambers of the stupa were placed colossal stucco images of seated Buddha, of which 3 were found in situ, but the remaining one on north side was possibly replaced by a stone image after the clay image was somehow damaged. About 32 meters south of the monastery, on its southwest corner and attached with the main monastery through a narrow corridor, is a rectangular structure identified as a library building. It was air-conditioned by cooled water of the adjoining reservoir through a range of vents in the back wall. The system was perhaps meant for preserving delicate manuscripts. A large number of antiquities of different materials, unearthed from this place in the course of excavation, are displayed in the site museum maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India. The stupa is a sacred solid structure raised over the body remains or belongings of Buddha or a distinguished monk, or to commemorate any event associated with them, but some stupas are merely symbolic, made for worship by the monks. Devotive stupa is a miniature stupa erected by devotee in gratitude of fulfillment of his desire. The Vikramashila stupa, built for the purpose of worship, is a brick structure laid in mud mortar and stands in the center of the square monastery. This 2-terraced stupa is cruciform on plan and about 15 meters high from the ground level. The lower terrace is about 2.25 meters high from the ground level, and the upper terrace is at of similar height from the lower side. At both terraces there is a circumambulatory path, the lower about 4.5 meters wide and the upper about 3 meters wide. The main stupa placed over the upper terrace is accessible through a flight of steps on the north side on each of the 4 cardinal directions. There is a protruding chamber with a pillared antechamber and a separate pillared mandapa in front, placed beyond the circumambulatory passage. In the 4 chambers of stupa were placed colossal stucco images of seated Buddha, of which 3 were found in situ. but the remaining of the north side was possibly replaced by a stone image after the clay image was somehow damaged. All the stucco images are unfortunately broken above the waist. The images are placed over a brick pedestal having traces of painting in red and black pigments. The walls and floors of the chamber and antechamber were plastered with lime. The walls of both the terraces are decorated with moldings and terracotta plaques which testify the high excellence of terracotta art flourishing in the region during Pal period. The plaques depict many Buddhist deities like Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Maitreya, Jambala, Marichi, and Tara, scenes related to Buddhism, some social and hunting scenes, and a few Nath deities like Adanath, Vishnu's Padabhati, Parvati, Ardhanarishvara and Hanuman. Many human figures, like those of ascetics, yogas, preachers, drummers, warriors, archers, snake charmers, etc., and animal figures like monkeys, elephants, horses, deer, boar, panthers, lions, wolves, and birds, are also depicted. The architecture of the stupa and the terracotta plaques bear great resemblance to the Somapura Mahavihar, Paharpur, which, too, was founded by the same King Dharmapala. In plan both are very much alike, with the significant difference that Somapura is centered on a central temple rather than a stupa. Vikramashila Monastery is also larger and has fort-like projections on its outer wall. Restoration work. Vikramashila was neglected for years, which contributed to extensive damages to the monument. ASI is now planning to develop the excavated site of Vikramashila. Since 2009, there has been considerable work in maintaining and beautifying the place to attract tourism. There has been inflow of Western tourists as well during the river cruises on the Ganga River. Cultural activities. The Vikramashila site is the place for Vikramashila Mahotsav, which is held annually during the month of February. How to reach there? The nearest big town is Kafalgaon, about 13 kilometers. It is approachable through 11 kilometers long motorable road diverting from NH80 at Anandipur, about 2 kilometers from Kafalgaon. Lately river cruises from Kolkata to Varanasi have started, which also stop by the Vikramashila ruins. In popular culture, an Indian Railways train recognizes this place by running a train No. 2367-2368 Vikramashila Express that runs from Delhi to Bhagalpur, Bihar. Gallery. Ruins of Vikramashila.